On the surface, these latest rumors coming out of Marvel about the upcoming X-Men movie where they want to focus on the female members of the team isn't necessarily a bad idea, but it may not work for Marvel, and we have examples from the past of why this probably wouldn't work. Not only examples from Marvel, but also examples from the Fox's X-Men franchise as well. But first, let's just kind of jump down into this article from Comic Book Movie, which is going to a little bit more details about where these rumors are coming from. So this is what it has to say. According to insider Daniel Richmond, the initial idea is to focus more on the female members of the team. Kevin Feige is believed to want to make the movie as different to the 20th Century Fox franchise as possible, which also means no Magneto for the time being. People might try to say that these are just rumors and you can disregard them, and maybe to an extent, because obviously it's going to be a while before the movie comes out and a lot of things can change between now and then. But at the same time, it's not like these rumors are coming from guarded company secrets or anything like that, because the studio is meeting with writers to hear their pitch on what they would want to do with the X-Men movie. And for something like this to happen, usually the studio would have to put out word within the industry that, like, we're looking for a writer for X-Men. This is what we want to do with the movie. Let's hear what you have to say about it, and we'll hire the best person for the job. Which means that having a female-centric X-Men movie, not having Magneto as the villain, is probably the prompts that they were giving to writers and say, like, what are you going to do with this and how would you write it, sort of thing. So you can kind of accept that this is what they're actually planning on doing, at least as of now. And some of the stuff that they're wanting to do, like not having Magneto as the villain, I think is a fine choice, because after all, this isn't the Fox X-Men anymore. This is the Marvel X-Men. Well, it's technically always been Marvel's X-Men, but this is part of the MCU now. So they're going to have to kind of put their own stamp on it, which I think is fine. I mean, if they want to focus on a different villain, go ahead. But having a female-centric X-Men team, or at least focusing on the female members of the team, is probably not the best approach. I mean, we saw them do that with the Fox X-Men and it didn't work out for them. And we've also seen them try to do this with Marvel, having female-centric teams, and it really didn't work out for them as well. Another thing that lends credibility to these rumors are just the simple fact that it kind of coincides with their stated goal from back in 2018 that they want to increase the female superheroes within the MCU. And since then, we've seen female versions of the male superheroes, or we've seen more females appearing in male superhero movies. And none of this was done organically to try to improve the quality or try to further the story or anything like that. It was all done simply just to show
girls get it done.
I talked about this in a previous video on the Silver Surfer about how in the Fantastic Four movie they want to focus on Sue Storm, and I never really had a problem with that in and of itself. If they want to just tell the story from her perspective, then by all means do that. But then when you hear that they're going to be doing a gender swap Silver Surfer, then I'm thinking, like, okay, they're not doing this because they have a creative way of telling the story. They're doing it because they're trying to ham-fistedly push an agenda or something like that. And when that happens, usually that means the story is going to diminish in quality, because the quality of the story is taking a back burner to trying to push whatever agenda that they have to push. And you would think after the Marvels failing, or pretty much the last few years of failure, that they would understand that by now and they would be trying to figure out some way of improving things. And it looks like they haven't really gotten the message. Now, there's still a long time between now and when Fantastic Four or when X-Men comes out, so maybe they'll change course since then. But I'm really not optimistic. I think what they're going to do instead is basically just make the movies for cheaper so they can at least still turn a profit, and they're not just going to make huge bombs for the studio. And maybe that might work to sustain them, but I would prefer them going back to telling good stories as opposed to trying to just push some other type of political messaging within their movies. But maybe that's too much to ask for. And if that's what they want to do, then they're free to do that. It's just people are free not to watch their movies anymore.